great to be here today. Appreciate the opportunity to give you a little bit of a quick focus on what we're doing in Sawable Beach around the piping plovers. And I really enjoy working in Owen Sound. It's a field office. I like working at that level. I'm not into policy and procedures and all that stuff. I like working with people, with the community, with the land, and with the resources. And that's where my love is, and that's why I really enjoy working with species at risk and the endangered species, because you either hate them or you love them. And it's really an eye-opening thing to work with a group or a community who may not really want to see them there on the beach or in the area, and then slowly see that change over to where they're actually embracing them and looking forward to them showing up. And for those of you who don't know where Sawable Beach is, you can see it just a little bit north and to the west of Owen Sound, about a 25-minute drive. And the program that we have there is very much the same as Laurel has at Wasaga Beach. So I'm going to let her, she's done a number of the slides that I would normally do, so we're going to zip through those so we don't double up on things. There's the iconic Welcome to Sawable Beach sign. Everybody gets their picture taken there. And it's, again, it's a beautiful long stretch of beach. You can see all the cars parked right on the beach, which is really environmental. And the birds are usually at the far north end of the beach. And they don't take up much room. As you saw, the enclosure that we put around them that Laurel showed in her slide, it doesn't take up a lot of room, but people still complain. And one of the main differences between our program at Sawable Beach and Laurel's at Wasaga Beach is hers is in a provincial park. Ours is in a municipal beach. So I don't believe there's as much protection for our Sawable Beach birds as you would find in a provincial park, because you're in a provincial park with its regulations. So I think we have a little bit more of an educational process that we've had to go through, and but we have a lot of partners helping us out. And it started off with just M&R getting a call that there was birds on the beach. This was about 5 or 6 years ago. And then a lot of other people got involved as we moved along. We have the Species at Risk program provides funding for the program to basically hire a coordinator, the same as Laurel has in her area. Myself, I just simply look after the overall program, but the coordinator that we hire is the one that's right on the beach every day. And we do also have a lot of volunteers that we're working with. As mentioned, the Midhurst District Species at Risk biologists are a great help to us in getting things organized and ready and helping us get education material ready for folks. The Owen Sound staff at M&R as well come out and help out. And we do have our enforcement staff as well, and that come out in uniform to help us out. The Bruce Resource Stewardship Network, the Rankin Resource Group is our banker. We do get funding through the Species at Risk program. And the Canadian Wildlife Service. We also have the National Park. We're really happy to have a national park not too far away from us up in Tobermory, because there's staff there that are really interested in this type of recovery program, and they come down and help us out as well. And again, having uniformed folks on the beach does lend more credibility to it and keeps people maybe a little bit more honest. The Blue Water District School Board, we have a couple of schools in the area and an outdoor education center not too far away in Oliphant, and they're also heavily involved in supporting it. And I don't have room on the slides here to show you the number of clubs that are involved. Naturalist clubs, community group, fish and game folks. There's just a whole raft of them that help out. We have McGregor Park not too far away, and they have friends of McGregor Park as well who provide us with some volunteers. The volunteers, again, we can't say enough about them. I mean, there's really just myself as a paid M&R person looking after the program, and our one paid coordinator who's on the beach for a couple of months. And the rest is all done by volunteers. And Laurel's already mentioned how important that is. If it wasn't for the volunteers, this program wouldn't continue forward, because certainly I can't spend, I maybe would like to spend the entire summer out on the beach, but I don't have the time for it. So the volunteers really, really are important to us. And we do some training in early May, and then we, depending on the year, if it's sometimes when the chicks are here a little bit sooner, we're on the beach a little bit sooner, and if they're a little bit later, then we're on the beach a little bit later. So the timing when we actually have volunteers on the beach depends on the birds' arrival. And usually what happens, as Laurel sort of mentioned, I get a phone call at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning from one of our volunteers who lives right there, and he's out there every morning, and there's a nest and there's birds. You got to be out here right now. So we try to get out there as fast as we can with the enclosures and all this other stuff that we have once the nests are created, to be able to put up around it and help protect it. And then the coordinator maintains the volunteers, as we've mentioned. And again, that's a huge effort, but we have people as far away as London, Kitchener, I think even Hamilton, who come up. And as mentioned, they may come up, they have a cottage, or they're coming up for maybe a couple of days of vacation, and they take a morning or an afternoon or maybe a day out of that time to volunteer their time to help out with the program. And it's really, really appreciated. And again, you can see the number of hours and what it would take if we had to pay them all. Again, as I mentioned, the funding comes primarily from the Species at Risk program. It's supplemented, and that really pays for our coordinator. And then we have some supplemental funding through the Stewardship Network, which helps pay for some of the other things that they need, binoculars and sunscreen and water and things like that. And we have some in-kind contributions that are made by folks as well. The municipalities have been very supportive. It's really been a really great relationship with the municipalities. First of all, the people who seem to really like the birds the most are the ones that are coming up and spending time there and seeing the birds and the enclosure and having the binoculars and looking at the chicks running around. It is a part of their experience in coming to Sauble Beach, and they really, really appreciate it. Unfortunately, the people we seem to have the hardest times with is the residents. And because you know what? It's their beach. And I always walk my dog here, and now I can't because there's this big enclosure. Or I used to go out and put my umbrella out here and suntan here because it's right next to my house or my cottage, and I can't because of those darn birds. And I don't understand the mentality around that, because it's a really unique thing, and they're only there for a short period of time. You'd think they'd embrace that and really enjoy that time. But, you know, we're ruining their summer because those darn birds are there. So we really have, and I know that the municipality gets a lot of complaints about it. We field a lot at the M&R office. The coordinator and the monitors on the beach get hassled a little bit. It's getting better as we do our community education aspects and components to the program. But in the beginning, it really was a lot of problems. And the municipality was great in fielding a lot of that. They also had to go through their learning as well, and education, because the beach is a huge employer. I mean, once the beach opens up, then all the shops open up and everybody gets jobs and there's money made. And if there's anything that sort of ruffles those feathers, they're not happy about it. So when they saw the birds coming up and people starting to complain about it, they were really concerned about their bottom line, and we got a lot of complaints. But like I said, that is changing with time. And But we've had some hard rows to hoe. Again, community outreach is huge for us. When we first started the program in Sawbo Beach, we called our volunteers guardians, and that was a mistake because it made the volunteers think that they were the piping plover cops. And if anybody got close to a bird, they were there, and they were telling them they better get moved back. And that caused some ruffles as well in people's feathers because they didn't take too well to these people running up to them on the beach and telling them what to do, and not necessarily, some of them really took it on, and they were the piping plover cops. So we changed it to monitors, and that seems to have been a little bit better acceptance from the community, and it's sort of changed the mindset of the volunteers that we have. But certainly the monitors on the beach are the ones that are there interacting with the beachgoers, with the scopes and with the binoculars and with the handouts and the educational material. They're the ones there that are interacting with folks and telling them all about the plovers and trying to get them enthused and explaining why they're there and why we have the enclosures and why that part of the beach you can't walk on and things like that. So we really appreciate those folks. But we also, the coordinator has gone out and has visited every single cottage across the road from the beach and every single business, talked to them personally, and that's done that was a really good PR piece that we did, because he was able to break down a lot of the misconceptions and find out what the issues were, and then we can come back and try to work with that and change things up to make it easier for folks. And we have media articles in the papers as soon as things start, and we have signage on the beach as well. And we go to the municipal meetings and we try to provide information to the councilors and to the people there as well. Each of our monitors has this wonderful vest that they get so that people know who they are in their beach. They're not just somebody running up to them in a shirt. They have their piping plover vests on with a little piping plover on the back, and they have their clipboard and they have all the materials so that people know who they are. And that's what's on the vest so that people understand that they're piping plover monitors. Some of the signage that we have there. And again, it's not a huge thing. Once the chicks are up and running around, they're down to the beach, they're back to the nest, they're running in between people's legs, they're just tearing they're kids basically almost, right? And they're just running around doing their stuff. It's that really important part where the nest, where the adults are nesting, and just after they hatch, that is really important in trying to keep people away and give them some space. But once they're up and running around, they're on their own almost. So we want people to, and they're so small and they blend in so well with the beach colors that it's sometimes kind of very hard to see them. So we encourage people to watch your feet when you're walking around. And again, some more signage that we have on there, just again to explain the program and the plovers. And then this is a handout. This is a color handout that we provide to folks again so that they can take them home. And we have piping plover tattoos that we hand out to the kids, so the little rub-on tattoos that they can put on and try to get the kids enthused and interested in the plovers. And of course, the reason we do it is we want to have as many of these chicks make it to adults as possible. And we did pretty good. As Laurel mentioned, she provided some numbers there. And the plovers seem to get along with people pretty well. I think sometimes, though, that they try to give us, especially those who were out there trying to look after them, a little bit of a hard time, because this last summer we had a second nest site set up unexpectedly, and it was right in the middle of the volleyball court just before the long weekend. So I don't know if they did that purposely or they're just trying to play with us or what, but they just go out there and they do their stuff, and we have to deal with it. But we hope to see more and more of those plovers on the beach as the recovery program moves along. And again, as Laurel mentioned, if you want to come up to Sauble Beach and spend a little bit of time, I think Sauble's just a little bit better than Wasaga. So come on over and see us, and we'd love to sign you up. So thanks very much.